Good afternoon. My name is Jocelyn Seffick, and today I'm going to inform you of the dangers of lack of communication, isolation and ridicule, and expression through destructive acts. I'm also going to tell you how all of these connect in a cause and effect relationship. So first I'm going to talk about the lack of communication in Ender's Game. There's a language barrier between the humans and the buggers. The buggers don't really have a spoken language per se, they just communicate amongst each other telepathically. So for all we know, the buggers could have been peaceful and just trying to communicate with us, but since there was no communication between the humans and the buggers, we just assumed that they were dangerous and violent. And had that lack of communication not been there, there may very well not have been a problem between the humans and the buggers. Next, in Ender's Game, Ender never told his parents about what Peter was doing to him, all the torments and the threats. This lack of communication only gave Peter more power than he should have had, so if the parents had known about it, they could have done something about it and protected Ender a little more. Next, I'm going to talk about the dangers and lack of communication in Frankenstein. At the beginning, the creature can't communicate with Frankenstein. When he first opens his eyes, he doesn't know how to talk. So Frankenstein runs away in disgust and terror, and the creature is unable to tell Frankenstein that there's nothing for him to be afraid of, that he doesn't want to hurt him. Also, later in the story, when the creature meets William, William doesn't really give the creature a chance to talk and explain himself, and tell him also that he's not dangerous. I believe that if William had given the creature a chance to speak, that there's a greater chance that the creature would not have killed him. Even though the creature, the main reason he killed William is because he was related to Frankenstein. If William would have listened to his story and listened to what he had to say, and showed him some compassion and friendship, I don't believe the creature would have killed him, because he would have been one of the only people to actually give him a chance, give him an opportunity that could have saved his life. Another theme displayed in both stories is isolation and ridicule. In Ender's Game, before Ender leaves for battle school, he's picked on by the kids at school and even his own brother at his home. This is because he just had his monitor removed after 3 years, and the kids and Peter know that no one from the government is going to come and rescue him and protect him. When Ender arrives at battle school, the teachers purposely isolate him from the other students in order to sustain his creativity and remain an individual with new ideas. They don't want him to become like the rest of the kids at battle school, so they separate him. They want him to challenge the system in order to grow into the leader that he's destined to be. And there's a quote here: "Isolate him enough that he remains creative, otherwise he'll adopt the system here and we'll lose him. At the same time, we need to make sure he keeps a strong ability to lead." Next is isolation and ridicule in Frankenstein. So the creature is unnaturally large in size. He has wrinkly, pale skin, yellow eyes and teeth, and a deep, terrifying voice. And it's because of this that people don't want to go near him, and they run away and scream. And the creature has no one to turn to for comfort and friendship. He's ultimately alone. Mr. DeLacy's son even physically beats the creature to try to get him to leave. And it's at this point that I believe that the creature fully realizes that he's never going to be accepted by the people around him, or at least by people who can see, because he was getting along with Mr. DeLacy, who was blind. The only differences between Ender and Frankenstein and the creature are the reasons for their isolation and ridicule. In Ender's Game, it's because he's a third, which is uncommon in his time, and in Frankenstein, it's because of how he looks, his physical appearance. Next is expression through destructive acts in Ender's Game. When his monitor was taken out, he was a target for torment because, once again, the kids knew no one was going to come help him. He's picked on by one particular kid named Stilson, and he beats him the day his monitor's taken out, and this causes Ender to protect and defend himself, and in doing this, he accidentally kills Stilson. On the launch to battle school, the boy behind Ender repeatedly hits him on the head, and Ender stops this by grabbing his arm and pulling him forward, and this causes the arm to break, which Ender didn't mean to do. He just wanted to be left alone, and he wanted the torment to stop right then and there. He didn't want it to continue, and he didn't want to have to keep defending himself day after day. In Frankenstein, the creature becomes destructive when no one will talk to him. This aggravates him and causes him to communicate in the only way that seems possible for him, which is violence and destruction. Since no one will talk to him rationally, he has no choice but to communicate them irrationally by killing and destroying. He kills William, Justine, and Elizabeth, and another reason he destroys things is because of his anger toward Frankenstein. He wants to get revenge for creating him and then leaving him to fend for himself. And his destructive attitude only gets worse when Dr. Frankenstein breaks his promise to the creature for a female companion. He feels cheated and more alone and isolated and defenseless than ever before. The reason Ender and the creature are so destructive is because they were never taught how to control their anger in an appropriate manner, so they are violent out of fear for themselves, out of what might happen to them. They don't want to be destructive. They're good people who are pushed to their limits and eventually just snap and do the only thing that seems possible. Ender is provoked and is simply defending himself, and the creature is upset and frustrated that no one will give him a chance. Here's some examples. Ender leaned his head against the wall of the corridor and cried until the bus came. I'm just like Peter. Take my monitor away and I'm just like Peter. He doesn't want to be like Peter. He's afraid that he's becoming a monster. And in Frankenstein, when he first encounters the DeLacy family, he has a civilized conversation with Mr. DeLacy, who is blind, but then Mr. DeLacy's son comes out and strikes the creature to the ground and tells him to leave. So in conclusion, all three themes are linked together in a cause and effect relationship. There's lack of communication that caused the isolation and ridicule, which caused the destructive acts. They're both outcasts and must deal with the consequences that come with this. People in society, no matter what time period, can be cruel and judgmental also.